Congresswoman Barbara Lee is on the line with us, brilliantly representing the 13th District of the great state of California. Lee.house.gov is her website. Congresswoman Lee, welcome back to our program.
Yeah, glad to be with you.
It is always so nice to have you with us.
Yeah.
So on the Iran deal, now that the president has enough votes in the Senate, not only to overcome a veto, but to filibuster this thing, I understand that Speaker Boehner is talking about doing a lawsuit. Do I have that right?
Well, the Speaker has tried every which way, as well as the majority, all of the Tea Party members of the Republican Party. They've all tried to stop this president every step of the way with any initiative, with any legislation, with any agenda. And so this is a continuation of what they've been doing for the last 7 years. It's outrageous. Yeah. I wish people would contact Speaker Boehner's office and really talk to him and the Tea Party Republicans about why this, just should not happen. They did this and spent a lot of money and a lot of time on filing lawsuits as it related to the Affordable Care Act. It just did not work.
Yeah. I'm astonished by how few Americans know that the night that President Obama was being sworn into office, as the inaugural ball was happening, there was a group of Republicans who were meeting at the Caucus Room restaurant, and they put together this plan to basically destroy the Obama presidency. I mean, literally the first night of the presidency. And
people must remember, Mitch McConnell said that their first priority was to make sure that this president was a one-term president. That did not happen. The president won overwhelmingly a second term. And so their next priority, they said, was to make sure his agenda did not pass. When you look at what has taken place, we did not have any Republican votes on the Recovery Act, which saved this country from going into a deep depression. No Republican votes on the Affordable Care Act. No Republican votes on Iran. And so when you look at the agenda of the Republicans being led by the Tea Party, you can see that they're obstructionists, and they really want to, as they said, coming in, a smaller government. But if you ask me, they want to dismantle government. So it doesn't really matter what is in the Iran deal. It doesn't really matter what the president puts forward. They're going to say no.
Yeah, I think smaller government is a metaphor for let the corporations and the billionaires run things rather than the people.
Absolutely. And when you look at income inequality, when you look at CEO compensation, when you look at the fact that they will not support, making sure that corporations pay their fair share, offshore corporations, and in these tax havens. When you look at their agenda, it's really about the wealthy, the powerful, and the corporate sector.
Yeah, and at that meeting where these 14 white men got together and said, "We are going to destroy President Obama." After the meeting, or at the meeting, Representative Kevin McCarthy said, "We got to challenge him on every single bill. Show united and unyielding opposition."
Absolutely, and the public needs to question how, we can govern, how a government can sustain itself, how a process, the democratic process can work when you have that type of obstructionism and when you have that type of perspective that regardless of what the president puts forward that would be in support of the American people or global peace and security, they're going to stop it at every step of the way. And so people need to pay attention. As to what's going on right now.
Yeah, I agree. In fact, Pete Sessions, after that meeting, the congressman from Texas who was there, he said, and I quote, "Taliban insurgency. We understand perhaps a little bit more because of the Taliban. Insurgency is the way they go about systematically understanding how to disrupt and change a person's entire process. We need to understand that insurgency. If the Democrats do not give us the opportunities that we want, then we will become the insurgency. Insurgency is a mindset." One thing
I can say for certain is they've been consistent. Now they're talking about possibly a government shutdown.
Yeah.
When you look at how they have addressed the issues around Planned Parenthood, just bogus, just horrible kinds of stuff. They're misleading people. They don't care about leading us over the brink once again.
Yeah.
That's their goal. And I hope that people understand that these people really are not acting on behalf of the American people's economic security. They're not acting on behalf of jobs. We need a transportation bill, long-term transportation bill to create jobs.
Mm-hmm.
They're not acting on behalf of the people of our country who deserve not only an increase in the minimum wage, but a living wage. None of these Republicans, none of the Tea Party Republicans who are leading the Republicans are supporting any of this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really quite remarkable. We have about a half a minute left, Congresswoman Lee. What would you suggest that our viewers and listeners do right now? Is the Iran deal at the top of your list?
Well, it's at the top of my list, and that's keep calling Speaker Boehner and Mitch McConnell and tell them, look, we stand on the side of Iran not acquiring a nuclear weapon, and if, in fact, this deal doesn't go through, sanctions will be relieved. All countries in the world have, the P5+1 have supported this effort. The United States, once again, will be isolated. And so I think it's important, it's going to go through, and the president has done a phenomenal job. But I think it's incumbent upon people to let the Tea Party Republicans know that this is going to save us from nuclear-armed Iran.
Which could be a disaster.
I hope people focus on the elections and what's being said out there and the kind of discourse that's taking place. And
you're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 202-536-2370.
Middle class to thrive. And that's not what these Republican candidates at all are talking about.
I totally agree. Congresswoman Lee, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.